I was just talking about disobedient flies there a little moment ago. I've gone for a cigarette and wandered around the car park. I was speaking to a lovely lady who's in charge of the hall and had a conversation with her. But you might get disturbed by the fly. There was two of them in the cab when I came back, but one's gone, so it was doing what it was told, but there's one behind me, so it might come and disturb our conversation. But I was just thinking there as well, when my up and down friend has not actually been in contact for a little while. I mean, certainly not the record, but yeah, the communications, it's not currently there. So I'm assuming she's very busy, but she's, I think a lot to do with it as well. You know, I'm not going to make a vlog about my up and down friend, but I'm just saying that I think the number of years that she spent in the convent in her early adult life has some bearing. I don't think they were allowed to communicate with each other in the convent unless they got permission from the Mother Superior. I mean, I remember her telling me at the time that she'd slipped on the wet floor in the kitchen, and you know, she had quite a tumble, and when she landed, she was wanting to shout out or scream out loud, but the first thing that hit her mind was, Mother Superior, am I okay to shout, scream? I've just fallen and hurt myself. And Mother Superior said, yes, that's okay. And then she went like, ah! And and then she was then told afterwards that she had done the right thing. Mother Superior always had to be, you know, everything had to be reported to Mother Superior before anything could happen, and they weren't allowed to talk to each other. But certainly my up and down friend has all the attributes of a nun, and I must say that in those years in the convent, she's certainly learned the much of quietness and non-communication. But the sun's come out. The sun here today is rather strong. Surprisingly, down in the valley it was a bit cloudy and cool, believe it or not. But Amloree does get its fair share of good days in the summer months, I have to say, especially in the evening, just where it's situated. But it's a different story up here in the winter. And when winter comes and I come up to let you see how different the weather can be from just a few miles down the road, you'll be quite surprised. I mean, this area is constantly bombarded with blizzard conditions and the what do you call it, inversion cloud as well. So I was having a look at I call it Crieff, but it's actually Craighullich, which is the north side of Amloree. But I was just looking at some pictures earlier on my computer, and that was the 26th of August, 21, that I first went up that one. Not first went up, before, but the first time I'd had footage of me being up it. So I might actually put a couple of these snaps up just now. And what I might actually do is I might actually do a full vlog with some of these August climbs that I've done last year. I don't know. I mean, I like to vary my channel with lots of stuff, and I'm quite in the area where I'm enjoying putting on different aspects of my life and different nostalgia and humour and poetry, a little bit of music, although it's pretty crap, and that my own music is crap because I can't operate that big organ and without making a total racket, changing the keys. It's quite an old machine, and so therefore when you're changing anything, it does make a bit of a noise. But I do remember being in the church, and when I was a youngster, and I was actually fascinated by the organ playing, and I wished I'd actually approached. There was a lady who used to play it one of those ladies with very neat hair. You know, it's never hair out of place sort of woman. And I always had approached her and said, I'd like to learn to play the organ. And if I'd picked that up about eight, excuse me, 8 or 9 year old and kept at it, I might have been able to master the notes. And as I said already, I was always been interested in classical music, and that was introduced just in school days. But it wasn't a subject. I didn't take music, and I wished I had. As I said before, I wished I'd taken Latin. I wished I'd taken music and French and German for perhaps, you know. These would have been wonderful subjects instead of the ones I did take. I like chemistry. I did enjoy taking chemistry. I think I did quite well in chemistry. But chemistry, geography and English were my favourite subjects. But I'm not going to talk about that either. Why am I talking about that, Andrew? What's going on in your brain now? I'll tell you what I was going to do. I did mention previously I was going to give you lots more of my silly antics from the 1980s in shops and stuff. And I mentioned shoe shops, so what I'll do just now is, as best as possible, is recount a couple of these right away. And one involved a shop, Bryce, the footwear shop, when they had their original retail outlet on West High Street. I don't know if you remember Campbell's, the newsagent shop. Well, just slightly to the next door, but slightly to the east on West High Street was Bryce's shop. And I remember going in there just for the hell of it. And I think one of my mates was with me. It was always good to have somebody to have a witness to see how crazy you could be. But we were standing looking in the shop window, and eventually we ventured in. And there was two brothers ran the shop with the father. But one of the brothers was there, and he said to me, "Can I help you?" And I said, "I'm looking at those brogues in the window." "Oh yes, I know the ones." And well, if you take a seat, and he says, "What size are you?" I said, "I'm size 7. Well, I've been size 10 shoe. I think the size 10 shoe since I was about 16. When I think about it, and I think the size 10 shoe actually helped me gain ground quicker when I was running. And but anyway, they have actually grown a bit since then. Believe it or not, they're actually. Just be careful. Your toes. I think your toes stop growing. Your feet stop growing, but your toes don't. So bear that in mind if you're buying any shoes. But so I take size 11, sometimes size 11 and a half shoes. Can you believe that? But that's the way it is. And so all my size 10 shoes I had to be put to the charity shop because they're just too small nowadays. And that's because the toes are growing, as I say. Not the toenails, but the toes. Anyway, get to the subject, Andrew. You says, "What size are you?" And I says, I'm size 7, and I'm about 20 at this point. So he kind of looked at me, but away he went, and he came back with these size 7 brogues, and obviously I couldn't get my feet into them. And I says, "Oh, they're too tight." He says, "Yeah." He says, "We'll try the size 8s," and he disappeared. And he came back with these ones. And of course, to do so, he's got to go and muff about the storeroom and get the right box and come back. And it's these classy shoe shops have always got a very stiff shoe box with the nice paper. Everything's all neatly packed in, So he's got to take all this out, and we tried the size 8, and that was hopeless as well. And then we went for the size 9. He says, Nothing. When was the last time you had your feet measured? And I said, "Oh, probably when I was about 8-year-old." I was pretty pissed off actually by that time. But another one I went in, it was the full name is the Dundee Equitable, just slightly east of the town clock, the main town clock in Crieff. And this is also in the 1980s. But and again, me and my pal went in, and we were kind of milling around looking at different shoes, and I made a choice on them, and I knew the woman, I won't mention her name, but she says, "You decided, Andrew?" I says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to take these, please." And what size is you? I says, "I'm size 10. And she says, just a minute, we'll see if we've got them. She came back, and lo and behold, she says, you want to try them on? I says, okay. I said, oh, how much are they? And she said to me, £28.99. And before she got the 99, I'd fucking fainted. Deliberately, of course, right? I was actually lying in the shop floor, on the floor of the DE shop, because the shop went into DE, and there was other people in there trying on shoes that were fucking absolutely startled by what had happened. And so my friend says to me, you shouldn't have told them the price. And this woman was absolutely taken aback with what had happened. So eventually, given that this timing's perfect with these things, so just as I managed to get to my feet again and kind of shaking my head and, you know, doing that thing with your thumbs and your eyes going like that, as if you're getting your senses back, and eventually cleared my throat, I said, how much did you say they were? And she said, they're £28.99, Andrew. And fucking down I went again. Oh, it was fucking class. It really was, man. And there's so many of these people. Oh, absolutely incredible. And the ones like this one in the baker's shop. It was Adams the baker. Everyone knows Adams the baker's shop in the town. That was one of the main bakeries. There's two bakeries that I can remember, and but Adams on the high street. And I'm going to have to tell you two of these stories because they're absolutely brilliant. Let me start with this stupid one first, and I'll build to the second. My mates were getting whatever they were. There's about four of us in the shop at the same time. We're getting all the stuff. And eventually she said, what would you like? I says, actually, how much is that cream sponge? And I'm not joking, it was a beautiful sponge. It was obviously a sponge cake with like a Victoria sponge, but it was with the jam and the fresh cream. It was absolutely beautiful. It would have done a whole family if I think about it. But I said, she said, would you like it in a box? I said, no, I'm just going to eat it just now. And but she still put it in the box, but she put it on the counter. And I think, if I'm right in thinking, I can still remember, it was certainly like well less than a fiver, because I gave her a fiver, and she went to get the change. And the time she came back, turned around to give me back the change, I had the whole thing stuck in my face. And our reaction was, oh, what a waste of a lovely sponge. And it was fucking hilarious. But this is one that's class. Let me get this perfectly right as it happened that day. I was quite knowledgeable because ever since I had a paper round, you know, I've been doing delivery of papers since I was probably about 7-year-old. Once again, where did you get all this time, Andrew? But I worked mainly for Campbell's or Miller the newsagent, but Miller the newsagent was actually owned by a guy called Roy Stewart. And Roy was a lovely man, a good guy to work with. He was quite principled about you being there in time, but he was a really nice chap. In fact, this man was immaculate. He was dressed immaculate for somebody who worked in a newsagent. He would come with like a yellow cravat round his neck and a really, really stiff white collar with really, really good fineries and cufflinks and everything like that. In fact, when I worked with Campbell's, I mean, these people are passed away now, sadly, but this, even at Campbell's, David Campbell I worked with, and I'll get a whole lot of stories about him as well, but his father, a guy called Sam Campbell, which I remember very well, he used to come into the shop to help out, because obviously he owned the shop originally. And he used to wear, what's the name, Andrew? Oh, begins with an S. Why have you forgotten that? Oh no, I've forgotten the name of this. I'll put it on the screen for you. These things that you put on your over your shoes to keep the dust off your shoes when you've obviously polished these shoes really to a high standard, and you put these coverings on them, which don't cover the sole, just cover the spats. That's what they're called, spats. And he had these spats, and absolutely immaculate as well. When I think about it, what a way to turn up for work at 6 o'clock in the morning, whatnot. And anyway, where am I with the story? Yeah, so as a paper boy, I built up quite a list of names of cookies and cakes. Well, for one, I used to swap some newspapers with the baker's son. With I would get some cakes off him, and he would get some newspapers, and that worked most days of the week for long enough. And then also, I would go into the shop, particularly on a Saturday morning, with my wages, and I would go in and buy these cookies and stuff like that. But I said I built up a real database of names of different cakes and cookies. But this story is brilliant. Mrs. Sutty, I'm happy to tell you the name. She was the one that served me, and I said, "Oh, would you like?" I said, "Can you give me an Eccles cake, please?" She wraps it up and puts it on the counter. And can I have coconut cookie, 2 Empire biscuits, and then there was a couple of other things. I can't actually remember exactly what they were. Oh, Chelsea bun, that was it. And can you give me a Chelsea bun? So she's on the counter, and what I was drawn to, I think she was actually pissed off that I knew more of the names of the cakes than she might have done. Well, she obviously knew the name, but she was quite surprised that I knew them, and I think it started having a little bit of impact on our mannerisms. But anyway, what I done, and again, it's just perfect timing. Everybody knows what pies are in Scotland, eh? So there's at the back next to the till, there was big wooden pallets, and they're full of these mince pies, cold mince pies. So when I said to her, "And can I get a Chelsea bun as well, please?" I think that's everything. Oh, and I'll take one of these over there, whatever they're called. And I pointed like that, right like that. I said, "One of those, whatever they're called." And she looked round, and then she turned back to me, and I said, "Yeah, whatever they are." And she said, "What, a pie?" I said, "Oh yeah, I'll take one of those as well, thank you." It was fucking class, because I hope you see the funny side of that, because I think it's hilarious, and I think it's brilliant. And at the time, I mean, I wish these things. Someone actually says to me, "Andy, you were the original Trigger Happy TV. You were, because you had everything sorted. You had all these things done well before Trigger Happy TV came on the go." And other people like it, you know. Yeah, it was fantastic times. But that's me done to the shoe shop sketches that I can remember, and to these incidents from the bakers, which certainly I hope you find amusing, cheer you up. But there's loads of them. I can't even remember them all. I mean, I remember most of them, but there's other ones. I mean, I've not even talked about all the times that I used to, because what had happened, am I making this too long? Hope not. Probably at the time that Ewan McGregor was at Perthshire, I should have went, because I was right into my. This is prior to the time of going this personality and poise course I was talking about earlier. But I'd gone to Perth Theatre, and I said to them one day, I said, "Have you got any what do you call it, stage makeup?" And they came back with a whole bloody lot of stuff, absolutely amazing stuff. And I said, "Do you want it?" "No, you can just take that, son." And they gave me wigs and stage makeup, because I kind of asked what it was for and stuff. I said, "It's just for doing some acting stuff." And because we're going to have a concert and that as well, which we did, but too, and that's another story. So I had all this stuff at my granny's house where I spent a lot of time, and then I was going out with this girl, and another girl, and I bought her Lancome. Is that the way you pronounce it? Lancome makeup for our birthday or Christmas. I can't fucking remember. It would have been her birthday, aye. And anyway, she, my grandpa, he had discovered my stash of fucking stage makeup and all this makeup, and in the bottom drawer in that house, and he accused me of being a Jesse Fisher. And my granny says to me, I hope you know a Jesse Fisher. I says, I'm not. I said, well, that's what I found out what it meant. I said, no. I said, fucking girl, man. You know, I says, and then she told me that he'd found this makeup. Anyway, that's an old story, another one. But this point of me mentioning stage makeup, I went to town in this, and I was tons and tons of times we went out dressed up. Not me. I mean, I've done it myself on a few occasions, but always made sure that there was going to be an audience. And as my girlfriend at that time worked in a supermarket called William Lowe's, she was absolutely horrified when I walked in dressed as this old man. And I took the trolley round, and it was a Saturday afternoon. It was absolutely packed, and I bought one grape. I mean, a lot of people still remember this story from the town, but I bought one. But she was absolutely fucking horrified that I'd done that, and that's what she said. Don't come in again like that. And our friend thought it was extremely funny, but she didn't. She just thought it was one step too far, which I think maybe now when I look at it, it probably was. But it was good crack. Then me and my mate, his father owned, his late father owned an actual American Cadillac. So he had borrowed the keys, and we'd pre-arranged, we dressed as the original Godfather type Mafia. And we both turned up on a Sunday afternoon at this William Lowe's. William Lowe's was a supermarket, of course. It was based in Crieff, right at James Square. Brilliant store. Anyway, we walked in, and everybody was looking at us. And I'm talking about the full gear, including the head hats and the violin case and that. And all we did was we wandered around, and I want to make a tomato. I want to make the bolognese like my mama used to make. You know, what do you say, Joey? You make it. And we stand there and fucking arguing this fucking Marlon Brando type speech, like we were ancient Italians arguing about how to make the best spaghetti bolognese. And oh, it was fucking mental. And we'd done another one of that. This actually went slightly sour, because what we'd done, we sent one of the mates. This is going to be too long, Andrew. We sent one of the mates in to a pub. It was a big stairwell when you went up, and he went and left into the lounge instead of turning right into the bar. So when he went into the lounge, we wandered in. And the three of us this night, and we're all dressed pretty sinisterly when I think about it. I mean, we're all dressed completely in, like Mafia. And again, we had two of us had violin cases. And there was a lot of people seated at the table, you know, mainly couples not having a quiet drink. And he walked in, and the barman obviously knew him and said, what's the matter? You look awful England. And he says, oh, there's guys after me. And that. And just that second, we walked into the lounge bar, and my mate says, we're looking for the bomb. Have you seen the bomb? And fucking next minute, fucking one of the guy, I'm not going to tell you his name, he stood up and goes, there'll be no shooting in here. There'll be no shooting in here. Fucking hell. And I'm going to start interviewing my friends about these things just to get some verification that these actually happen, because fucking I don't think you'll actually believe all this.